The Galactic Accord Council mocks Earth's delay in responding to threats. One planet among billions, they say. But then something pierces their core defense grid without warning, without signature. A ship not seen in 1,000 cycles returns. They laughed when Earth didn't answer. 14 systems fell silent. Trade lanes collapsed. Colonies vanished like dust and wind. Earth's name flickered in intercepted fragments, but never with reply. And so the Galactic Accord convened. Their council chamber was carved from the hollow core of a white dwarf. Artificial gravity pressed like velvet on their skin. They floated, adorned in orbit robes, confident, arrogant, unified. They are late to the age of stars, hissed Volcan, whose people melted planets for fuel. They burned trees for warmth. Laughter, primitive, sentient but directionless, spat. Grelhash, let them vanish. We've warned them. More laughter. A diplomat from the outer reaches raised a claw. We received something. A signal, uncoded. It repeated one phrase. The room dimmed. What phrase? Toval asked, more bored than curious. The diplomat shivered. It said, clear the lane. Silence. Then, that's it? That's it. They laughed again, and then the chamber lights died. Not dim dash died. No pulse. No hum. No energy signature anywhere across the White Dwarf Station's entire 3,000-mile spine. A sound followed. Not a siren, not a weapon. A knock. 3 knocks. From outside a structure meant to survive. Supernova shockwaves. Something had tapped. On their shielded hull. Is this a breach? Grell snapped. No, the AI whispered, for the first time in 800 years. It's here. What is? No one answered. Because now, through the open observatory lens, the stars were gone. Replaced by one silhouette. Angular. Brutal. Silent. An Earthship. No. The Earthship. Cody name. Grave Digger. Hull. Obsidian etched. Engines. Untrackable. Life signatures. None. Size. Unmeasurable. It moved like a shadow yet cast no one. Toval stood, voice shaking. That ship was dismantled. Lost during the Silent War. No, someone muttered. It was buried. The ship pulsed once. No weapons. Just existence. Every Accord warship in orbit. Powered down. Every eye node. Froze mid-thought. Inside the council, air thinned. Contacted, Grell choked. We can't. What do you mean can't? It's not transmitting. It didn't need to, because in the minds of every being in that chamber without sound, without signal came one sentence. This is not your sky. And then the battleship vanished. No warp. No distortion. It simply blinked out. The stars returned. And nothing moved for 17 seconds. Then the chamber's light flickered, and the counselors realized something terrifying. The ship hadn't attacked. It had warned, and that was before Earth even responded. This is not your sky. Aboard the Gravedigger, a human crew executes an operation that's less invasion, more exorcism. Earth's first response isn't violent. It's worse. They don't fire. They remove. But one pilot, Commander Rios, begins to realize Earth may not even be in control anymore. They laughed. Then they stopped. The Gravedigger did not hum. It breathed. A low subharmonic resonance ran through its bones like a haunted cathedral felt in ribs and teeth, not ears. The ship didn't fly. It withdrew from space-time, leaving no ripple behind. In the command cradle, Commander Rios floated in an oil-slick gel, eyes blank, skin embedded with neurothread mesh. She wasn't piloting. She was listening. No stars. No radar, no orientation. Just the voice. Your insertion is complete, said the voice from her cortical lobe. Not spoken, not electronic. The ship itself was speaking. Rios exhaled through gritted teeth. Target? Accord Prime, Council Hall, Observation Corps. Violent? Unnecessary. A pause. Then, unless they scream. In the observation deck above Accord Prime, 1,000 light years away, diplomats still trembled. The ship had vanished. Every sensor said it never existed. But they had all felt it. The phrase echoed, "This is not your sky." They scrambled fleets, scraped together protocols, ancient alerts. Protocol exile, protocol burial, even protocol dust measures meant for lost gods. Not humans, but Earth hadn't attacked. They just knocked. And the knock had been heard in 3 galaxies. Back aboard. Gravedigger, the silence thickened. Commander Rios peeled out of the cradle, flesh steaming where interface ports retracted. She walked barefoot through a corridor that wasn't built, it was grown. The walls throbbed, slow and wet, like something dreaming behind the steel. "Ship," she murmured, wiping blood from her temple. "Why now?" "Request. Clarify." Earth's been silent for decades. Why answer now? The voice paused, then, quietly. "We were always answering." Then, "Why let the Accord run wild?" Another pause. This one, colder. "Because they haven't made the mistake yet." "What mistake?" "The one that wakes what's under us." Rios stopped walking. "You mean under Earth?" "No," the voice said. "I mean under you." A chill skated her spine. She looked down. The floor beneath her pulse lit with something, old symbols. Pre-human, not Terran. Not alien, something deeper. And she realized the Gravedigger wasn't made to attack, it was made to warn, because something older than Earth had chosen humanity as its voice. On Accord Prime, Admiral Tovalkan broke his species' blood seal and activated a forbidden archive. File ID Myth-Origin-Delta-1 Earth Entity Projections. The simulation displayed one word, Gravedigger. What does it do? Someone whispered. The AI responded, "It buries the past, literally." "And the humans?" another asked. "They're the tombstones." Back in the ship, Rios entered the black chamber. No lights, no door. Just the sense that space unfolded. Inside, 4 other pilots. Each one floating, each one silent, each one plugged directly into the silence core, a sphere of unknowable mass that had only one function: presence suppression. To the outside universe, Gravedigger didn't exist because the silence core forced reality to forget it. It wasn't stealth. It was erasure. One of the pilots, Juno, opened their eyes. "You spoke to the ship," they said softly. Rios nodded. "It told me they're not afraid yet." "They will be." Rios frowned. "Are we firing anything?" Juno blinked. "Firing?" He almost laughed. "Rios, firing is loud. What are we doing then?" "We're rearranging." Within 5 minutes of Gravedigger's reemergence into physical phase, Accords' entire tactical grid began reporting anomalies. Warships misaligned by 0.4 degrees, deep core munitions reclassified as organic tissue, is self-muting mid-commanding on every communication band. One message played in perfect silence: "Clear the lane," over and over. Even after systems rebooted, even after they severed every link to the relay towers. The phrase played inside their minds. "It's not a transmission," one Accord scientist whispered. "It's a presence." And when they tried to fire, their weapons weren't there anymore. Not missing. Not destroyed. Just not real. Rio stood at the edge of the ship's consciousness and watched entire regions of space go dim. No battle. No counterstrike. Just edits. Reality rewritten. Because Gravedigger didn't kill enemies. It erased the idea of resistance. Back on Earth, in a dark chamber below the Atlantic Trench, the last vault finally cracked open. Inside was not tech. Not weapon. Not AI. Just a stone. A massive obsidian monolith humming with languages never spoken by life. It was Earth's first gift, left behind when the stars were still cooling, and it activated with one line etched into its base, now glowing. If they scream, bury them. Director Shen read the line again and nodded. Rios floated back into the command cradle. She felt the ship breathing through her bones again. Are we done? She asked. The voice of the ship whispered, no, they're about to scream. And that was before Earth even responded. Firing is loud. We're rearranging. A Concord infiltration unit breaches a sealed archive on a derelict fringe colony only to discover an impossible projection. Earth predicted their rise, their fall, and something worse beneath it all. But the most terrifying detail? Earth didn't label them enemies, just delays. They laughed. Then they stopped. Deep in the frost veins of Cortex 9, where silence was stitched into the walls, the Concord found something no one admitted existed. Archive. AETRNUM. Not protected. Not locked. Just buried. And things that are buried by humans are buried for a reason. Infiltrator Vesh Khotun stood before the door, breath steaming behind. His visor. It wasn't made of alloy or stone. It was wood. Real wood. Oak, if their database guessed correctly, carved with one phrase, you weren't first. Behind him, his tech binder blinked. It's psychically primed. Any direct entry triggers. Vesh knocked once. The door opened. Of course it did, because Earth never denied access. They just made sure only the terrified ever came in. The archive was dust. Literally every file, every surface. Every shard disintegrated at touch. Except for one. A slab, black glass, 2 meters tall, hovering half an inch off the ground, vibrating at exactly 2.7 hertz. Pull it up. Vesh ordered. The slab lit. It didn't speak. It remembered. A hologram bloomed in midair, built from hundreds of shifting fragments, Concord ships, battle formations, genetic profiles, future colonies, all marked with prediction tags dated centuries ago. His assistant whispered, this isn't recon data. No, Vesh said. It's prophecy. Meanwhile, aboard Gravedigger, Rios reviewed the satellite pings from Cortex 9. They found Archive Aeternum, she said. The ship was quiet for 3 full seconds. An eternity. Then, are you ready to tell them? No. They're going to scream, Rios. She leaned forward. Then I suggest we bury them. The ship PURRED. Inside the archive. Vesh watched the projection shift. It showed the fall of Sector Gamma 7, which hadn't even formed yet. It showed the psychic breach of the Kyrell. Mind home, a tragedy from a decade ago. It showed the Concord. Council's exact vote breakdown from tomorrow. This can't be. Vesh stepped closer. Then it shifted again. A single human face. No name. No data. Just one phrase beneath it. Still listening. His blood chilled. This is a trap. His assistant whispered. No, Vesh said. This is a message. For who? Not us. Then the slab blinked. And the final projection loaded. Not a war. Not a fleet. Not even Earth. Just a field. Empty. Grass swaying. And in the distance, a shadow so large it swallowed the sky. No legs. No eyes. Just presence. And behind it, something. Whispered in their heads, not in words, but in finality. The whisper they'd all felt since the first colony disappeared. This is not your timeline. On Accord Prime, panic ruptured through the upper command lattice. New AI cores refused to boot. Fleet nav systems showed inward-only jump vectors, every plotted route leading not to Earth, but through it. Counselor Grell collapsed mid-briefing, blood seeping from his ears. He'd heard a child's voice, repeating the same line, "You're in the way." Back aboard Gravedigger, Rios met with Juno in the Heartlight chamber. "This isn't war anymore," she said. Juno nodded. "It never was." "You saw the cortex slab?" "Yeah, it was one of ours." "You mean human?" "No." Juno looked at her. "I mean pre-human." Rios went still. "You're saying Earth didn't build that archive?" "No, I'm saying Earth found it." Silence fell. "What are we?" Rios asked. Juno smiled. Not kindly. The final correction. The slab on cortex pulsed. The projection collapsed, but one final frame hung in the air, locked to Vesh's retina, a map of the galaxy, covered in red zones. Each labeled, "Resolved." And one blinking dot. "You are here." Then the slab cracked, shuddered, and sang, not sound, not frequency. Grief. And every Concord mind in a 40 light-year radius felt the same thought at once. They didn't invade because they were angry. They invaded because they were sad. In Earth's shadow vault beneath the Arctic core, Director Shen stood before a second monolith. This one had just awakened. 3 symbols flashed on it. SKULL, a flame clock. He nodded once. "Let them read the slab," he said aloud. "Let them know what we didn't do." An aide stepped forward, nervous. "Sir." "What if they retaliate?" Shen chuckled. "Then they learn what Gravedigger is really for." And somewhere deep in the void, across hundreds of erased colonies and silenced fleets, the human refrain repeated. They laughed. Then they stopped. They screamed. Then they vanished. They begged. Then we remembered. This is not your timeline. The Concord fires the first true shot at humanity, targeting a dormant relay in a show of dominance. But they don't get a war. They get an answer. Not from Earth, from something Earth left behind. Something it once buried because even they feared waking it again. They screamed first. Then Earth remembered. The Concord War Assembly voted in the Dark. Protocol 87A, symbolic strike. Not annihilation, just intimidation. One kinetic lance, launched at sub-relativistic speed. Target, an abandoned Terran relay orbiting a dead gas giant in Sector 4. No defense grid, no warning system. No human presence. Easy. Admiral signed the launch order with a grin. Let the primitives bark. The weapon fired, and something blinked. On Earth, beneath kilometers of ocean. A vault stirred. It did not open. Its side. Aboard Gravedigger, the alert came as a whisper. Juno blinked at the screen. That was a mistake. Rios didn't look up. They hit relay Theta 0. That was a grave marker. Exactly. He frowned. You think they knew? They screamed first, Rios said quietly. They don't get to scream twice. She turned to the interface and spoke 4 words. Wake the other ship. Gravedigger didn't respond with data. It didn't need to. It just pulsed once an ancient, low throb that made every human on board pause mid-breath. Something was listening. Not Earth. Something Earth remembered. On the Concord homeworld Heshtar, there were no clouds. Only orbiting silos and city spires that split the sky like needles. Then the sun disappeared. Not blocked. Not eclipsed. Erased. As if someone had wiped a smear of light off a page. Their sensors pinged. 12,000 anomalies in the upper stratosphere. No heat. No trajectory. No matter. Just absence. Then a shadow shaped like memory drifted over the capital. No engines. No sound. Just presence. Admiral Celeste choked on his own breath. Get a visual. The feed stabilized, and there it was, a ship, tall as orbit, wrapped in symbols that shifted every time you looked away, blacker than vacuum, older than movement. The AI read the hull glyphs. The orator function, unknown. Origin, Terran, not Terran error. Command structure, autonomous, deferred, forgotten. Selesh whispered, "What is it?" The AI answered simply, "The one that listens back." Rio stood before Gravedigger's heartlight, arms folded. Juno's voice was tight. "We never deployed the orator." "We never needed to," she replied. "Then why now?" She turned. "Because they didn't just attack a grave marker. They defiled it?" "No." Her voice darkened. "They woke something we buried. Something we made to remember what we used to be. Heshtar broadcast on every frequency. We apologize. This is a misfire. We seek peace. And finally, we didn't know." The orator replied with one pulse, not language. Not sound. Grief. And across every Concord AI, psychic node and neural lattice, a thought bled in. "You remembered war. We remember before it. It didn't fire. It didn't move. It just SINGA resonance no ear could detect, no instrument could measure. And Heshtar fractured, not exploded. Unwound. Like a thought being deleted from the universal mind. In under 10 seconds. 5 billion lives became a question the universe no longer remembered asking. A ripple of null spread outward, eating satellite chains, thought archives, memory beacons. Not erasing. Forgetting. The Concord central core went quiet, then blinked back on. No mention of Heshtar in its records. No Admiral Solesh. No strike vote. No Concord assembly. Just one redacted line in the Galactic log. They screamed first. Director Shen watched the ripple from the Arctic core as quantum. "Mirror, was that necessary?" His aide whispered. Shen didn't blink. "It wasn't punishment." "Then what was it?" He turned slowly. "A memory enforcement." Across the stars, Concord colonies began powering down weapons platforms. General stepped out of war rooms and into silence. No commands. No retaliation. They didn't fear humans anymore. They feared the parts of humanity even humans feared, and they wondered, what else had Earth buried? On Gravedigger, Juno watched a child's drawing rotate in a 3D archive. A stick figure, a tall shadow. A moon that wasn't real. Rio stood beside him. He asked, "Do we control the orator?" "No." "Does Earth?" "No." He looked at her. "Then what is it?" She smiled, just barely. "The story that remembers itself." In the absence left by Heshtar, a field grew. Impossible. Illogical. A planetary grave turned into grass. And one word echoed from every direction, carried in a breeze that had no wind. "Clear the lane." Across the galaxy, Concord minds shared one repeating dream. They stood on a shoreline. Behind them, ships burned. Before them, a figure of smoke and sorrow. It didn't speak. It remembered. And then they woke with the same thought. We were not. First, we were not feared. We were warned. The story that remembers itself.